What's going on, everyone? It's Bales, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Trade Talk ahead of round 21. We're into the final month of the season now, and every team is in luxury trade season mode. So plenty of people trying to get onto players with good runs. So we'll chat through a few of the players here today. Obviously, the most trade in-out players, as we always do, and I'll give a top 5 targets. And normal and everything like that. So, but as always, before we do, make sure you do smash a big thumbs up on the video. That'd be very much appreciated. If you obviously a few people have sort of fallen away from fantasy, obviously over the last sort of month or two. Obviously, that's generally what happens over the course of the fantasy season. But if you have been someone that's been here throughout the whole season, make sure you do smash a thumbs up on the video to see how many legends have been around. Tuning into the Trade Talk videos in every week. So, make sure you smash the like and also subscribe to the channel if you have not already. We are heading towards 2.7k subscribers. If you can help us reach that goal, that'd be very much appreciated. So, let's get stuck into the most trade in-out players for the week. And Adam Treloar is the most traded in player, 5,500 people. Good option. He's obviously been very, very good. It was just a shame that he was a late out a couple of weeks ago in that game. Because he'd been just consistent all year. But I guess that the worry with him had always been that he might miss a game or whatever. He's missed his game, calf tightness. He's been very good all year. First 2 games were a bit down, but since those first 2 rounds, he's just been consistent. Like, when Treloar puts up a bad score, it's an 80-plus score. Like, he hasn't gone below 80 all season. And he's only had 6 games this season under 100. And what is it? 2 of them? 3 of them, sorry. 3 of them have been under 100. So, he gets it done, gets plenty of the ball each week. I'm actually keen to see what his lowest tally has been for the season in terms of disposals. Like, I'm not seeing any games here. Okay, the North Melbourne game was his lowest, 22. But that's like he's only won below 25 disposal games. It's ridiculous how much he gets the ball each game. Got a good run coming up. Melbourne Crows, North Melbourne. Finished off with the Giants, which is a bit tricky. But, yeah, his last 3 games have been obviously massive. He had the 84, obviously his worst game there. I think he got tagged from memory in that game. And then, obviously, before that, he was really good. So I don't see him getting any tags here. I think he's going to continue on his merry way. Nearly $1 million. He could well be over $1 million after this week. So Treloar, I like the pick. At this time of the year, we want the players that are going to score the best, and Treloar is definitely one of those guys. So, yep, I definitely can get on board bringing him in. Tom Stewart, the same. 3,500 jumping on him. He's been up here in the top sort of 2 or 3 for a couple of weeks now. His obviously form has been very, very good. Probably been behind Whitfield, the second best defender in terms of form. What's that? 4 scores in a row over 113, 3 of them been over 120. So he's just been really, really good. 5 tons since being in this midfield role. And I just find it hard to see how teams can stop him because he plays midfield and then drifts back. So if someone's going to tag him, it can't be a midfielder because he's just going to go back to defence. So it's got to be that Chincotta type player that goes from half forward straight to him and tags him. And it's got to be an absolutely hard team. I just don't know if teams are going to do that. So Crows, I don't really know if they get I don't know if they're going to do surely Ben Keys doesn't do anything like that just because of how well he's been playing. Freo, I don't think they've got anyone that does it. And then St Kilda, if Windhager's back, you never know, but he plays midfield. So I don't know if he's going to do that. Then West Coast. So he's got a good run in the year. I can't see much attention going to him. I think he's going to be a top 6 defender and probably a top few defender. So I think he's a great option still. He's nearing 900k now. Obviously, he's rocketed up in price the last few weeks, but I like him. Then we get to a few cheaper guys. So the first 2 I'm big fans of. Then we get to the cheaper guys in James Peatling, who played the best game I've seen him play. He was very, very good. Almost single-handedly won Melbourne in the game there with a couple of late tackles for holding the ball. Still under 500k. Obviously dropped a bit with some sub games, but every game that he's played, over 70% game time this year, has been pretty good. So what's he gone? He's gone 81, 115, 98, 86, 133. Obviously scored a 57 here and 70% against Geelong, and I think he had played 68% for a 52. So I think that's been with Cogs has been in the team for those games, but when Cogs isn't in the team and he's got the midfield, he normally goes pretty well. Cogs is ruled out this week, so he won't be playing. So it is definitely could be a 1 week play, a decent F7 loop because you can go Dowling to Peatling, and it costs you, well, you make money. So I'm a fan of doing it as an F7, and you can always loop him even if Cogs comes back and see how he goes, because I can't see him being dropped from the team. He's playing too well at the moment. Matt Roberts is the interesting one. So he's got a break even of -20, 550k. Obviously, a lot of us had him at the start. Well, pretty much everyone had him at the start of the year. It was just a really good cash cow for us. Then he got rested. Then he was sub. Then he was dropped for a few weeks, sub again. I think he was sub in this game as well. But last 2 weeks, since he's been back in the team playing the role that we saw him at the start of the year, 89, 102, 138 last week, which is a massive with 36 touches, 8 marks. So he's got Port this week. Then he finishes with Collingwood, Essendon, and Adelaide. So I don't mind Roberts as a D7 if people are trying to look at maybe doing a few loops and stuff like that. So Roberts as a D7 loop, it could definitely work. It's obviously going to work for some people. I don't know if I'd bring him in as D6. He's been really good. And I guess if you are cash strapped and you need that cash to bring in the player you want, then you could. But I feel more comfortable probably putting him as D7, looping him with someone that you're not maybe as comfortable with on field, and then you can sort of see who gets the score there. So Matt Roberts, not a bad option there. Ed Richards is a good option. I think he's under 800k. He's been good the last few weeks. Obviously, Bulldogs are flying at the moment. 781k, 114, even with a bit of a tag on the weekend, then a 131 before that. We do know, though, you can drop these 70s and 60s. So he's good, and they've got a really good run. I'll worry at this time of the year bringing in a guy like Ed Richards and copping a 70, which he's been for most of the year, bar 4 or 5 games. So I think with the good run, you could, and especially the people that had a Jordan Ridley in their team, if Ed Richards is the best you can get to, I'll definitely go there. But I feel like if we're trading a few people I'm sure will chat about in the trade outs, but people might be moving Nick Dacos on or Hayden Young or something like that. If you're moving those guys on, I'd probably want to be going up, if you can, to a Tom Stewart or one of the St Kilda guys or a Whitfield if you can get all the way up there. I'd be going for one of those guys and not sort of the guys under 800k. But again, best you can get to, I don't mind it. And even if you can do him as a D7 as well, if you had that much cash, then you could definitely look at doing that. Then you got Dane Zorko and Josh Dunkley, who both got St Kilda. Obviously, Zorko being the main one, scored 125 against them early in the season. We know St Kilda give up truckloads of points to designated kickers and just defenders in general. So Zorko, great option this week if you don't have him still. Dropped a little bit, obviously, after going over $1 million early in the season, but he still is expensive. He's 955k, but I don't think you're going to get him much cheaper for the rest of the year. And if you haven't got him now, you just got to jump on. If you don't have him, who have you got in your forward line? That's probably the question I'd ask you. So if you don't have him, I'd be jumping on. Dunkley, good option. Bounced back last week at the 128. Saints at Marvel. Obviously, he's played plenty of games at Marvel. I think he'll go pretty well there. So Dunkley is also a good option. Dylan Moore comes into a couple of tricky games now. So they've got the Giants this week at Manuka. Not a great matchup. And then he goes into Carlton. So, yeah, 2 pretty difficult games back-to-back. And that game's at the MCG, I believe, as well. Yeah, so not too bad. But he's got Richmond and North Melbourne to finish the year. So you're definitely going to want him for the final 2 weeks. Again, you can bring him in now. No worries about that. It's just, don't expect, I guess, those 110, 120 scores. If he did pop one of them in the next 2 weeks, then fantastic. But I guess don't go expecting one of those scores just because, they're a couple of trickier matchups there. Harry Sheasel, if you don't have him, I jumped back on last week. Obviously, start of the year, trade him out, bring him back in. For me, it's as simple as, you just got to bring him back in. He's got a great run to finish the year. Richmond, West Coast next to, then Dogs, Hawthorn. He's just been very, very good. And he's just getting more comfortable in this role. He had 36 touches last week, so many score involvements. He's not going to get any attention, I don't think. I think if anyone like Liam Baker will probably go to an LDU or something. So Sheasel should be free to do it in whatever he wants to. So, I like him as an option there. Hugh Bond as well, probably just, again, downgrade that people are looking at. Hasn't been a huge score of 51. He's 240k again. you just downgrade to him and he's your D7 or D8, whatever, then that's fine. If you've already got a D7 covering you, you probably don't need him and you can save the 40k, but if he's a rookie, you can downgrade to him. And then Lockie Whitfield. If there was a week where I wasn't going to bring him in, it would probably be this week, just because Hawthorn, if Finn McGuinness is named, I just struggle to think that Sam Mitchell's tagged people in the past. You look at GWS and who you got to stop. You got to stop Whitfield. So I could see Finn McGuinness tagging him, and Hawthorn already very hard to score against anyway. Then he's got Brisbane at the Gabba, so I'd be fine to bring him in against Brisbane at the Gabba. I can't see Brisbane tagging him in that one. And then he finishes with Freo and then the Dogs. But again, we need Whitfield. If you don't have him, you need him. 8 games since the bye, 6 of them been over 120. The other 2 have been tons, so hasn't gone under a ton since the bye. So if you don't have him, definitely bring him in. But this could be a week where he drops a little bit lower of a score. Just some of the other players, they're the top 10. Then the other players being brought in. So Bay Laurie, obviously, he's a downgrade option. Scored pretty well last week. Did you get 60-something? Yeah, 69. -4 break even, 255k. Yep, he'll make a little bit of cash for you there and be okay cover if he holds his spot. So he's an option there. Ryan Marshall, yep, obviously top 2 ruck. Averaging, he's obviously scored the most points out of any player for the season. Brisbane this week, it is at Marvel, which is good, and he did score a 105 against them at the Gabba with Tom Campbell, so I don't think Tom Campbell's being known the way Marshall's playing, so I'd be happy to jump on him if you don't have him. Grime Myers, good option, good run for rest of the year. Crows this week, I think he'll go pretty well. Obviously, Will Parker, Binns, just downgrade options. Charlie Curnow, I don't mind as an F7. F6 is... You probably could trust this week because Collingwood are a bit beaten up with a lot of injuries there, but I'd prefer him as an F7 and you can loop him and see if he pops a really big score there. Then you just got, like a Mitchell, Brown, downgrade options, and Tristan Cherry as well, who obviously I think we're going to need. I think it's him and Marshall are the 2 rucks. I obviously have got English and I'm looking at doing English to Cherry within the next fortnight. That's what I plan on doing. I believe Cherry's actually got English coming up in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, I'd preferably like to get Cherry next week. Worst case is I get him in round 23 against the Dogs and then Hawthorn, but I feel like I want him back before the end of the season as a non-owner. And if you are an owner, obviously you have enjoyed a few big scores, particularly the one from last week. I think he's averaged well over 110 since I traded him for Jordan Sweet in round 7. So that was, that's probably shot my hat hopes, that trade there. So then most traded out, a lot of these are probably self-explanatory there, or they're just luxury trades. So Logan Evans, 4.4k trading him out. Again, if he's your D7 and you've got cover, you can trade, but I still don't mind keeping him just because he's good cover. He's shown he can put out a good score. 543k is obviously a very good price. So again, if you go rookie down, you can go him up to a premium defender and then start looping, then obviously that can definitely be where he goes. But most cases, I'd almost want to keep him. But again, if him down gets the upgrade you want, he can go. A little bit the same with Dowling, but I'd be more inclined to be keeping Dowling over Evans because Dowling is an F7 looper, is quite good. He's averaging 69 for the year. He's been pretty good. I think he's gone back-to-back 70s. And I think even before that, he got, was that the game he got like the 80-odd against the Saints? Yeah, look at that. Last 3, 80, 75, 72. That 49 as well, we gave away 5 free kicks. So on another day, that's a 65, 70. Got a 64 before that, 55, 89. So it's just been like a lot of the other forwards. And that 89 was from only 69% game time as well. So Geelong this week, not a bad matchup. But down at GMHBA, obviously, it's a narrower ground. So I don't know how he's going to go there. But as an F7 loop, I still like him and I'd prefer to keep him personally. Unless, again, going him to Charlie Curnow, if that's something that you're looking at doing as an F7, then I'd tick that off. Luke Ryan, yep, he's just got to go. The Melbourne game 2 weeks ago was the last straw for me. I was still looking at his scores and going, okay, well, he got a 70 against the Dogs and 68 against the Gold Coast, but they did press quite high up. I thought 97, 101, back-to-back. I thought, okay, maybe he's not too bad. But yeah, 67, 85, 63. Back 2 of the last 3 being under 70. Like, just not good enough. And they've been against Melbourne, like, only in 85. 60s against Hawthorn and West Coast, who aren't typically easy to score against for defenders, but still, like, come on. Like, Freo are winning these games. I know they obviously lost to Hawthorn, but got to be better than that. He's got the Bombers, MCG. If I trade him out, I know he's going to go 110 plus. That's just going to happen. And then Geelong. So he's going to go big once I trade him out. But, I just think he's got to go. He's bleeding so much cash now. he was over $1 million at one point, and now he's under 800k, so he dropped, a lot. So, yeah, he can go. Ridley's obviously got to go because he's out for 3 weeks. Manor, again, same with Dowling. If you've got both, you could definitely trade one. I'd probably keep Manor out of the two, just because Manor playing in the better team. They've got easier matchups the rest of the year. He's got a better role, I think, as well. So I'd prefer to keep Manor. I still think F7, he's a good guy to have. And some people even rolling with him F6, Dowling F7, and loom between two. Obviously, you can't do it this week. They're playing each other, but I'd prefer to keep Dowling there. Schoenmaker, obviously, has been dropped for the last couple of weeks, so he can go if you've still got him. Then you got, like Rosie. He's got Sydney this week. I don't mind trading him. Again, if you're going him to if you've got all your rest of your team sorted and going a Rosie to a Treloar or something like that, I'd definitely tick that off. But yeah, he's not a must trade, even if it's against Sydney. Hayden Young, just doesn't have the ceiling in this role. I think he's only had, is it one score over 120 this year? And I think he had one score of 119 or something, I believe. But you trade him, he's not going to burn you, I don't think. 129, 125. Actually, he's got 2. So only two scores over 110 for the year. So he's not going to burn you if you trade him. 4 of his last 5 have been under 100. What's that? 5 of his last 7, have been under 100 as well, and only 2 low 100. So he can go. But he does have 2 good matchups. And no Fife this week against the Bombers. The MCG could go quite well. And I think last time it was the MCG went well. 125. And he's got Geelong the week after, who have been good for mid. So I'm probably keeping him. But again, I can definitely see people trading him out. And I would still tick it off if you're going him out, especially to a Sheasel or a Whitfield or something like that. And then you got Crisp. Again, he's got to go as well. Obviously, Humphrey's there as well. Again, he can go. He's not a bad looper at D7 as well. I'm probably keeping him just because of good matchups to come. He's shown he's got a good role. He can score well, so I'll keep him. But again, if you need a trade, then I can definitely see that as well. And then, as I said, Crisp just been poor since all these guys have been back. So, yeah, he's got to go. Then, all these guys can go as well. Fraser can go. Kruger can go. Jackson can go. Warner can go. McCurch probably back this week, so if you've got him, I'd probably hold. He's got Richmond this week, so if he is named, I think he'll go really well. So I'd be keeping him unless he's a sub or something. Tholstrup can go. Clark can go, I think, as well. A little bit the same with Young. He had the ceiling when they were chipping around, but he doesn't have the ceiling, and he's had it for the most of the year. So he can go. Day can go, and I think Keys can go as well. He got a 129 the week before, but he played probably the best game I've seen him playing. He's a very good player, but he's going to be way too up and down. The Crows got a really tough run for the rest of the year. They got Geelong, Bulldogs, Port, and then finish off with Sydney at the SCG. So I'd be trading him as well. Now, Butters can go as well, just with the Sydney matchup there. Now, where's Dacos? Okay, interesting. So only 394 people have traded him out. That's interesting. So all the owners have still got him. I'll lead it into my trades after, but with Dacos, I'm potentially looking at trading. And the reason I'm looking at trading is his next 4 matchups. Don't get me wrong, Dacos, great player, right? This year, he had the 128 last week against Richmond. Obviously, Richmond, a great matchup. Then he had that 4-week patch with 122, 131, 115, 133. But again, Carlton, who's got this week, fun enough. But then Eagles, Adelaide, Freo, all good matchups, scored really well there. And then you got the 123 against Sydney, which was surprising that he went so well against them early in the season, right? But we've seen, obviously, Tags back half of the year have been a lot more prominent. Carlton this week, Collingwood need to win to stay in touch with the top 8 if they're going to make the top 8. And Carlton need to win after losing last week at a Port. So they're going to tag him. Chincotta will go to him. You can pretty much write that down right now. And I know they got a 122 against them earlier in the year. I just can't see him going that big against Carlton this time, personally. And then he's got Sydney. One of Jordan, Rowbottom, or Adams will go to him there. Then you got Brisbane. He played quite well against them earlier in the year, 101. So not a huge score, but He's played well against him last few games, so I think Brisbane will try and put some attention to him there. And then Melbourne, Neil Bullen will go to him, and he went to him here. And obviously you got the 62. Yes, got subbed out early in the last quarter, but he wasn't going to score that well either. So I'm just saying I'm considering doing it this week with those 4 tags coming, or 3 at least, and potentially 4 tags coming up in the last 4 weeks. So, and as I said, even if he doesn't get tagged, Carlton, Sydney, Brisbane is a really tough run. Even if he's not getting tagged or not. So, for me, I think you definitely could trade him. But I guess people have still got other issues. Like people are trading guys like Jordan Clarks and your Jack Crisps, Hayden Youngs, Connor Rosies, Luke Ryans, guys like that. People are trading first, and I can definitely see why. And I'll probably trade a few of those guys before day cost. But yeah, I'm definitely considering the day cost move this week. All right, so looking at the top 5 options this week, I think Sheasel's got to be number 1. And I know a lot of people got him, but the reason I'm putting him at number 1 is because if you don't have him, I think you just need him in. He's got Richmond and West Coast next 2 weeks, and he's got, Bulldogs and Hawthorn. So you need him for the last 4 weeks. So for me, you've got to have Sheasel in your team. Number 2, I'm going to put Dane Zorko. Same reason. You just need him this week. He's got the Saints under the roof. This could be massive. Obviously, we saw Flanders under the roof against the Saints, about a month or so ago, or a little bit over a month. Obviously, went absolutely nuts with 163. So, yeah, for me, Zorko, you just need him this week. So, they're the 2 that are mostly owned. So, the guys that are probably not as owned by many, Adam Treloar, I've got at number 3. Melbourne this week, great matchup. Then he goes into the Adelaide, and then he's got North Melbourne. So 3 great matchups to come. I think he'll go well in all 3 of those. Finish off the Giants at Mars Stadium. I'm a bit more worried for Bont in that matchup than Treloar, but obviously not a great matchup. But Treloar's just going that well that I think he'll be fine in that matchup anyway. Number 4, I'm going to put... He's down the list here. So I don't normally go... Normally most people are on to a lot of these players, but I'm going to go down the list and go Noah Anderson. West Coast this week, great matchup, obviously, and then he's got 3 good other matchups to finish. So he's got West Coast to Optus, then goes into Essendon at Marvel, Melbourne at home, which we know he's been so good at this year. Then he's got Richmond at the MCG. So 4 great matchups to finish. I think they've got the best run by far for the rest of the year. 871k, good price. Doesn't matter what, but the break even is. I think Anderson's just a very good option. So for me, I would be potentially looking at bringing him in, and he is my number 4 on my list this week. And number 5, I'm going to put Tom Stewart there at number 5. And just, again, he's been on the top 5 for the last couple of weeks, but people still bring him in. I think you just have to bring him in. The role's too good, and he's scoring too well. The other guys I like, this is actually a week where I do like a couple of guys outside the top 5 that I'll be really looking at. So James Peatling is one for this week with the Hawthorn matchup, like him. Josh Dunkley as well against the Saints. I really like his matchup there. And then Nick Newman as well against Collingwood. Again, he's got a really good run for the last 4 weeks. He's got I think it's Collingwood into Hawthorn, then St Kilda. No, West Coast, then St Kilda. Finished off with St Kilda at Marvel. I think he's got to be a must-have in that final game. But great run for the last 4 weeks. He's, again, another guy I'm considering bringing in this week as well. 853, a little bit cheaper after a lower score a couple of weeks ago, but I like him there as well. Jai Simpkin as well against Richmond as a forward. I like him if you're looking there. And Jack Steele, Brayshaw as well, good option. So yeah, plenty of good options to be bringing in this week with good matchups at this time of the year as well. In terms of my trades this week, so I'm pretty much Ryan to Treloar / Anderson is locked in for me. I'll be going to one of those 2. At the start of the week, I had Anderson. I've now currently got Treloar, just with the Melbourne matchup. It's just such a good matchup there. I'm still unsure which way I'm going to go with that. I feel like I'll make the wrong decision whichever way it goes, but I'll have a look at the numbers still and see who I'm going to bring in there. And then it comes down to whatever my other trade's going to be. So, like the one I've currently got is day cost to Nick Newman. Trying to just, again, attack as much as I can to just see if I can get back sort of towards the top Even if I don't get top 100, it'd be good to get a top sort of 300-400 rank for the year. So, yeah, maybe doing that and being aggressive and trading off a guy that might get tagged, will get tags. Or maybe the sensible thing is just to go to a Toby Green out, who got a ton last week, but obviously you can drop a stinker, and then go to a Jai Simpkin, who's got a good matchup. So, yeah, they're probably the ones I'm mainly considering. I did consider Rosie and Dacos out for Anderson and Treloar, but then I've still got Luke Ryan and Jai Simpkin, and then there's probably no way I can get rid of both next week, and then you've got to hold at least one. So I'm not sure with that. So, yeah, at the moment, it'll be one of Treloar. Well, one of Treloar and Anderson will definitely come in, and Ryan's definitely going. So it'll just be what my second trade is. So, yeah, I'm I'll work through that, and we'll see what I do. But obviously, I'll let people know what I'm doing in the pre-lockout chat, as we always do. But, yeah, let me know in the comments below, guys, what you guys are doing with your trades this week. If you've got any trade questions, we'll put them in the comments below, and I'll get to them when I can. And then, yeah, we're back tomorrow for, obviously, a captain's video, as always. And then we'll be back on for the pre-lockout chat, 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Perth time. And then, funny enough, 10 minutes after we finish normally, the footy will be on. Obviously, 2 games on Friday, earlier games, so don't get caught out half an hour earlier than what it normally is. So we might even finish 10 minutes earlier than what we normally do, just to let people get to their trades and stuff. So make sure you keep an eye out for that as well. Then we'll be doing watch-along, probably for the Bulldogs-Melbourne game, just a more relevant game there, because Gold Coast, Anderson's there, but no one really owns, I don't think, anyone from West Coast, so we'll do the Bulldogs-Melbourne game, because there's a lot of relevant players there. A lot of people bringing in Treloar this week on debut, potentially as vice-captain as well. So we'll do that game there for the watch-along. Then watch-along will also be on Saturday night. Probably the Collingwood Carlton game, but we'll see if it's that one or the other game. I can't remember what the other game is, but yeah, make sure you smash like on the video. We've very much appreciated. 100 likes is a goal on all the videos. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you've got any questions, well, you want to send them through to me on Q, then head over to Ask Me on Q, spelt QU.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. Trade questions, draft questions, captain, vice captains, team-related questions, screenshot of teams, text it out, like type it out, whatever you want to do, send them through there, and I'll get to those as well. And there, links at the top description for that one as well, so you can't miss that one. So send audio response to your email if you'd like to hit that one up. So anyway, thanks guys for watching as always, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow for the captain's video. So I'm out. Cheers.